Hi, I'm Cynthia Schiller. Please like and subscribe. So this is kind of an interesting topic today. What is confabulation and do narcissists have it? So confabulation, what exactly is it? It's a type of memory error. And there are gaps inside a person's memory that are unconsciously filled. They're misinterpreted, distorted information. And when somebody is confabulating, they're confusing things that they might have imagined with realistic, real things in life that actually did happen. So they're not really lying. Now, we know our narcissists lie. They do lie, but they have an altered memory as well. So yes, narcissists do have confabulation. Psychopaths have it as well. So we'll get into it. It's very interesting. So they're not purposely trying to deceive us. Sometimes they are with their lies, but when they're utilizing confabulation, they're trying to fill in gaps in their memory. So they truly believe um, that this is truth, even if there's conflicting evidence against it. So there is provoked confabulation, and this happens when someone creates something that is untrue in response to a specific question. It's most commonly the top common one. And a lot of people with dementia or amnesia will utilize provoked confabulation. They get asked a question, they have no clue. Or they pull from different memories. They think it's real. And spontaneous confabulation is a less common form, but that happens when somebody tells a story that they made up without any obvious motivation for it. They weren't even asked a question, so there's no provocation. So provoked and spontaneous. So sometimes they just say stuff to say it, other times it's in response. And it's often associated with different types of memory disorders. Could be a brain injury, a disease, even psychiatric conditions such as narcissism, psychopathy. But it can also be seen with people who don't have any type of neurological brain disorder or mental health condition, or brain damage. But there are some signs and symptoms that we can kind of be aware of. And the characteristics is they have a lack of awareness that what they're saying is distorted or falsified. And if somebody points out these errors to them, the person's not really concerned because they believe that what they are saying is real. So they don't really, when they're utilizing confabulation, they don't usually have like this purpose, like a hidden motivation to remember the things incorrectly. So usually the story is pulled from the person's memory and it's just distorted. It's made up and they don't realize it. So it's either probable or very probable, very improbable. It can change. The story might be completely make sense. Other times it's completely disorganized, incoherent, unrealistic. So we go through that a lot. Now, a person who has schizophrenia, who is experiencing delusions, they might confabulate memories that become more and more unbelievable, more intricate, uh, and kind of go outside the realm of the question. They'll um, spectacularize it. Is that a word? So their memories are distorted, and it's often because of brain damage or disease. Now we got to remember our narcissist has brain damage. That amygdala is smaller, and there's Alzheimer's. They deal with it. Traumatic brain injury, schizophrenia. So there are certain types of information that are present at the forefront of a person's memory. So those certain information just lives in this person's memory, tends to crowd out other details. So if there's ever any gaps in memory, overlearned information can dominate and force out specific facts and memories. So this will lead to memory distortions and inaccuracies. It's kind of like, you know, it's not the best example, but basically if you're focused in on something, you're learning all about a car accident, you're not paying attention to the small details, like what kind of trees there were. So the narcissist might be paying attention to whatever they're caught up in, but they don't remember what's not important to them. So they'll make things up because they think a lot of times that that's going to make sense, or that's probably what happened. And it's just a gap that the mind almost automatically fills in. Our eyes do that too. Like if you're looking at a brick wall, and there's like a little piece missing, our mind seems to like fill in certain things. They've done studies on little things that we just kind of glance over unless we really get into it. It's amazing how we fill in the blanks. So it is a true statement. It sounds kind of like, no, I would see it, but our mind does do that. So is there treatment for this? You know, you can use psychotherapeutic and cognitive behavioral treatments, and people can become more aware of inaccuracies. But you got to think about it like a person with dementia. There's only so much that's going to kind of be able to be fixed. So in 2017, they had this study based on treatment for neurophysiological damage for confabulation in people who experienced, now this was related to a brain injury. And inside the study, they asked the participants to do some memory tasks and then showed them their incorrect responses. So they're trying to do some memories and, you know, they didn't do it. So the people running the study pointed it out. So as these participants were shown which errors they had made, they were given specific instructions to kind of focus more, pay closer attention to the material, and to think about their answers before they responded. And the studies indicated that this approach was effective at reducing confabulations, and the effects could also be generalized to other areas post-treatment, but that takes some effort. And if your narcissist isn't aware that they're doing this, they're not going to utilize any techniques to help themselves. They're not going to pay closer attention, and they also don't care. And that's where it gets tricky. So confabulation, some common causes can be related to the brain damage. They're just filling in those gaps of memory, creating false memories. And it's kind of an example or a survival thing. So how does that affect us? It affects us because we're living in the real world. We're trying to talk to our narcissist. They already lie. On top of it, they have confabulation. So that's why a lot of times they'll fight to the death that they're right about things, because that's what they believe. So us trying to talk to them, they don't understand where we're coming from empathetically. They don't understand where we're coming from as far as like a real life happening, because they see it different. They were focusing on something different. Their mind filled in the blanks. You know, it's like subconscious, but it affects our relationship with them. And it's like the boy that cried wolf, you know, to where you've lied so many times, like when you do tell the truth, people don't believe you. And the narcissist, when they're sitting there sticking up for themselves, they might truly believe what they're saying. And it makes it confusing because we're like, are you really lying? Is this confabulation? How do we address it? How do we get to the root of it? And that's where it gets toxic is, how do you have a relationship with somebody who is living at times in an altered reality? They bring an altered reality to us. And that's unhealthy. That's not the way our brain is. Our brain is like, I know what happened. And it starts to make us feel crazy because we're arguing something. We're making our point. We're giving specific examples. And the narcissist, they're living in their altered reality. And when you live in an altered reality, it messes with your mind. It messes with your mind. And it's not a true relationship. You know, even if it was in a positive way where you know, they confabulated that you're the sweetest person, always cook dinner for them. You're the sweetest person, you always whatever, and you're like, I've only cooked you like 2 meals. It kind of doesn't help our self-esteem, or like we're a great person for something we didn't do. And then we want them to see us for who we are. And it messes with our self-esteem, you know, causes arguments, causes confusion, and causes instability. And it also causes us to kind of have a broken heart where we're like, you don't remember that I did that, or you're saying it a different way, or it makes us on the defense where we're justifying, you know, like I didn't cheat. Like what I waved to the person, I didn't wink at them. And they're like, yeah, you winked. And it's their mind filling it in. Like maybe some thing from the past, whether it was a movie or a trigger that they had, where they assume if you wave a certain way, you're going to wink your eye and flirt. So we're getting yelled at. And it's like, this isn't even true. And how do you prove it? The moment's already gone. There's no evidence. You know, let's say it was a stranger and they moved on. And also, you know, the narcissist will relate to how they would act. So let's say you waved, the narcissist thinks you winked at their best friend. The narcissist talks to the best friend. The best friend's like, she didn't wink at me, she just waved. So we're both on the up and up, but the narcissist, based on that false confabulated memory, they will project onto us how they would have possibly acted, because narcissists have a higher incidence of cheating. So maybe they're like, duh, I wouldn't do that unless I was, or they're not going to believe it. They're going to think that it's like a flirt or a cheat, because that's what they would do. So they project onto us. They don't believe us, even though it's the truth. And then it leaves us like, what is going on? What is happening? How do I fix this? I can't prove it. I have evidence, the best evidence I could get out of the situation. They're not believing it. Now what? Now this person's angry at you. Now you got to walk on eggshells. Now you're hyper vigilant. They're hyper vigilant, watching your every move. And it's just toxic, you know? And that's why dealing with somebody in their right mind makes a huge difference. And moving forward, you know, well, the new supply, we'll talk about the new supply. They're going to go through that stuff too. You know, if somebody's using confabulation, that's just how their mind works. And, you know, you want somebody to change. How do you tell a blind person to see? You can get mad at the blind person. You can talk to the blind person. If you just focus, just use your eye muscles, just do this, just do that. Maybe right when you wake up, you'll see better. And the person's like, I'm blind. It has nothing to do with my sleep schedule. And we're expecting the narcissist to change who they are, just like in that scenario, changing a blind person. That's who they are. And, you know, how do we deal with that? You know, it's hard because we all live in this world and we don't want to encourage how society is falling apart, and everybody needs their feelings validated, you know. And so, you know, they have the stigma on mental illness. You know, how do we handle it? You know, because they are still people. They do have struggles. but we have to remember how it affects us. Now, narcissists know right from wrong. So they can change their behavior. But this is where it gets tricky. So if they change their behavior, it gets frustrating for them. Um, just like a blind person. You got to walk through the mall. You got to do this. You got to do that. And they're doing it with the use of a cane or whatever, but it's causing stress on them, especially if they don't have the right tools. So if you just tell a blind person, go walk, it's going to be stressful and scary for them. If they have the right tools, like a walking stick, might make, or a lead dog, there's ways to make it easier. So the narcissist, if they utilize tools like therapy or self-reflection, learning about empathy, they're going to go through the motions. But just like the blind person's still not going to see. They're using tools to make life easier. The narcissist could use some counseling to make life easier, but they're still blind in their heart. It's who they are. And we can't change it. The narcissist, just like the blind person, they can get along in society about a little better by following the rules. Be polite to people, don't yell at people, don't hit people. But it's a scary, dark world to the narcissist doing that. They're uncomfortable with love. It sounds stupid, but they are. When they're in the discard stage, devaluation stage, the more love we try to give, the more it pushes them away. So at first, in the love bombing stage, like nothing's really going wrong. We're giving love. It seems like they're giving love. It's actually just to obtain supply. It's hard to conceptualize that, but that's what they're doing. But when there's no problems, the narcissist doesn't rage as much, but they're starting to click in their head to use more manipulation tactics to make sure that they're the one that's picked, because there's so many men, so many women out there that they want to show that they're the best. So they'll create exaggerated stories, or their mind starts thinking. And then when they get what they want, it's like, okay, that's nice. Look at kids at Christmas. For months they're like, I have to have this, have to have it, have to have it. Do you think Santa's going to bring it? And they're like obsessed with it. When they open it Christmas morning, play for it a couple hours, then it's forgotten about. That's kind of like marriage to a narcissist. Is they're excited about it. And it's something that they have to have, just like a kid wanting a certain toy. And then they get it, they'll enjoy it for a while, just like a kid. A favorite toy, they're going to enjoy it for an hour, for 2 months, maybe a year and a half. After that, they don't treat it the right way. They kind of forget about it. They forget about their favorite toy, or they're on to the next favorite toy. That's what a narcissist is like, because of the state of their brain. Kids, they have certain attention spans. They're shorter when they're younger. They get longer when they're older. The narcissist, an attention span with a human, they kind of see humans, they dehumanize people and treat us like objects. They know we're living, breathing people, but as far as what makes each of us special? Is it my hair color? Is it my eye color? Is it the shape of my body? Maybe that can be more or less attractive to somebody. But what is the real value in me? Is it my hair color? No. What the real value in me is the compassion I can give, intelligence I can give, time, guidance, listening, validating people's feelings. But the narcissist, they're so quick fixes, more outwardly than inwardly. So they're not like, how do I be a better friend? They're going to look at what they need to change. So maybe they'll get a cool new haircut, or a cool car, or you know, a degree to say that they have a degree, as opposed to you know, utilizing the knowledge. It's more for bragging rights. It's different, and it's hard to, it really is hard to conceptualize. But that's what confabulation is. It's a big word. And it's kind of subconscious. And it's a truth that they believe. And that's just mind blowing, you know, because they're already lying. It's an unstable situation. So this new supply, they're going to go through it too. And we have to remember too, you know, what's up with the new supply? You know, we're sitting here relating mental health based on us. We think that our narcissist got somebody just like us as far as mental health. Did they? That person could be bipolar, borderline, abandonment issues. Like, we got our issues. We all have our issues because of that narcissist. And look at what they did to us over that time. You don't think it's going to happen to the new supply? It most definitely will. But how the twists and turns of that relationship go are based on the stability of the new supply. But the narcissist knocks down even healthy people because it's draining. It's draining, and it puts the new supply, it put us into survival mode, possibly reactive abuse and confusion. And that's an unhealthy state for us to be so confused or unsettled. And we're trying to settle, like, just let me know what happened, you know, or for us to get back to reality. Like, no, I was just waving and I didn't wink. Like, if that's the true scenario, that's our reality. And we want to feel comfortable that our truth is heard. And we're listening to lies all the time. We don't know what truth is anymore. But deep in your heart, you know, it's an unsafe situation. And if they can change, like, this is the thing, they can change. These self-aware narcissists can change their actions, not their feelings. The self-aware can change their actions, not their feelings. You know, just like if you punch me in the arm, I can't scream. That hurt. But if I do my natural reaction, maybe I would scream. But I changed the action. I didn't change the feeling. It hurt just as much either way. I learned how to act different. So does that help the other people in, I don't know, the school, so they're not bothered, worried, whatever? Yeah, I changed the outside people. And that's what the narcissist can do. They can change their actions to change the outcome in all those people's lives. But it's still going to hurt them to do it. Just like if you punched me and I didn't say anything, it's still going to hurt. I still helped everybody else. But does a narcissist really care of helping everybody else when their heart is hurting or their head is hurting from all the impulses going through their head? So yeah, they can change their action, and then you can have a relationship with them because they'll at least treat you nicely. But they don't connect with you. They don't connect with you. And it's up to you guys if you just want, you know, a going through the motions relationship, or if you want somebody who truly, truly loves you. You know, because also too, we have to remember, if the narcissist goes through the motion, They can do that, but then they're going to start resenting it. Because like if you hit me and I need to release it and it's so hard not to, you know, it's stressful. And the narcissist just wants to be them. And they're striving for it, but they're striving for it in such a messed up way. They're trying to find who they are, and they'll never find it because they don't want to look at who they are. They don't want to look at who they are. So it gets deep, the twists and turns, but I hope that helped. One-on-ones are available, topic requests, and I'll see you in the next video.